Hello again. Welcome to another edition of the Front Row Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's. We're always thrilled to have you along with us. And joining me this week, Big John Malkoski from the St. John's Radio Network and official scorer in the International League.
Busy time.
And we were swapping stories of who was recognizing who during the week. Marty, Bihn, Hallmark Mortgage, and all around wonderful guy.
Court jester. I'm court jester here tonight. Make you laugh.
By the way, did you get your new Toledo Shreks t-shirts?
Easy there, easy there.
As we tape this, little boo-boo at the University of Toledo.
I think someone was trying to be funny and didn't realize funny can have some extra consequences you didn't know, and it ran off in its own crazy direction.
For those who didn't see this, and I don't. Basically, somebody tweeted that if they got 500,000 retweets, they would change their nickname or change their mascot to Shrek.
Yes.
I think.
And at the time when they finally deleted it, they were getting 1,000 retweets a minute.
Yes.
So you're saying they were on the clock.
Yeah, it wasn't going to take long.
They and Disney were going to have to negotiate, is what you're saying.
It was going to happen.
Yes. Well, when ESPN and USA Today and everybody else pick it up within a couple hours, it's going to grow like wildfire.
Hey, kids everywhere, be careful what you wish for on social media.
Social media is dangerous.
It can happen, and you can't stop it. So don't crack a joke you're not prepared to live with the consequences for.
But this is why you don't let an intern run your Twitter account.
I don't know. It works for the White House.
Wow.
I'm here all week.
Wow.
Yes, I said that, and I'm sticking with it.
Wow, and I'm not going anywhere near it. Not on this show, anyway. If you want to buy some time, and we'll buy some other time somewhere else, we can always do that political show we always wanted to do.
No. I snuck that into the side door. I'm comfortable. I'm sticking.
We still
with
need
it.
more sponsors for this show before we start a new one, okay? All right. Well, in social media, the days of social media, it can go like wildfire. And when I was in high school, which was back when they, had candles and no electricity, I went to Lake High School, and their nickname is the Flyers, and at the time their mascot was Snoopy. And it got back to Charles Schultz, and the school got a cease and desist. That little Lake High School in the middle of nowhere in Northwest Ohio couldn't have Snoopy as a mascot.
Well, and it probably took longer for that to happen back then. Now,
that was maybe 1980 or something like that.
Today we're fighting about a barbershop show that's never even aired yet that Alabama wants to run, that it turns out the rights to might be being fought for the person, LeBron, who claims to have the rights to them. It's like, seriously, calm down. Because
I missed that one.
The whole barbershop show thing, LeBron's done a couple versions of it. Apparently the company that pitched it to him wanted rights to it, and Alabama allegedly was hacking it and calling it, and they just renamed it something else. But LeBron's attorney sent a cease and desist or a letter to Alabama Athletics saying don't do this. And it's about the concept of a bunch of guys rapping at a barbershop talking sports.
Which has been done in movies.
I was thinking.
For years.
How do you get that pitched? Apparently I'm in the wrong business. I need Michael Cohen as my attorney so I can pitch that. That's an original idea. Yes, that's two hacks.
Rocky Marciano. Somebody always brings up.
Yes.
Coming to America.
Yeah. How do you get that's an original idea and then get to sue people that's your original idea?
He beat Joe Lewis's ass.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he was 75 years old.
Well, if that's the case, Norm can patent three guys sitting around a table like this, and if anybody else tries to do it, then Norm can sue them.
I think after a year of this, nobody's going to try to do it.
But I mean, seriously, where does that come from that you can get away with that?
Well, I mean, Wamer went through the same thing. When they rebranded their logo, the Pitt Panthers said, hey, that's way too close to our logo. And they ended up having to change the logo that they had just paid a bunch of money for to put in their field.
Yeah, your claw's a little too authentic.
Well, if you want to know in minor league baseball, and the Mudheads probably have a lot to do with this, why there's so many goofy nicknames of teams, why there's the Hartford Yard Goats, these Charlotte Stone Crabs,
New Orleans
Baby Cakes. It's because of that. They're picking nicknames that nobody else has. So there's no problem with any of the rights to it.
Yeah.
So I think there's some genius to that from a marketing standpoint anyway. So if I'd want a unique name that somebody would be like, I've never seen that. Because, how many Panthers and Titans and Knights and whatever. I mean, they're everywhere. At some point in time, everybody's got that.
I don't know what a yard goat is, though.
Well, in the days
Compared to a
of
regular goat.
I don't want you to find out, and I don't want you to tell me. I just want to be clear on that.
Well, in the days of an entire farm system having the team's name, like the Yankees used to have,
Right.
Except for the Columbus Clippers, they had Yankees at every other level. And that's going away because you can't sell merchandise that way.
But I like it when it's creative, like the Albuquerque Isotopes.
Well,
kinda
and that
stealing-
came from the
Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprised they didn't sue them.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I'm saying, there you go. They should get franchise fees from all of that.
but a lot of them just get really weird, and it's hard. I mean, even the president of minor league baseball has actually said he has a problem with some of these, with as odd as they are, and he's never stepped in to say no, but a couple times he's kind of wondered.
Well, what about all the different jerseys during the season?
Ugh, and don't get me started about that.
Yeah. I think we've never discussed this, and I'm confident you and I are on the same page because
Well, and
if there's one more Star Wars night or prehistoric Jurassic Park night or whatever, and we do a jersey with a T-Rex hanging off the back just so we can sell 5 of those, it makes me want to barf.
and I come from a different angle because when the Mud Hens do special jerseys, they order all these jerseys in, and sometimes the number 7 jersey that the normal guy wears, the specialty jersey doesn't fit him. So then he has to go trade jersey numbers. So the game starts, and you've got Brendan Ryan out there who's supposed to be 7 wearing 46, and the guy that's supposed to be 46 is over here wearing 13, and you're going, who are these guys?
Is that any different than Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball, where everybody wears 42 and you can't figure out who's who? And half the teams in baseball don't have the names on the backs.
Right.
Can they?
Well, especially, I mean, even the ones that do on Jackie Robinson Day, they don't. They take them off.
Can't we do that? Can't we have? The NFL, they micromanage all that stuff.
Yeah, you can't change a jersey number without buying. I mean, if you're a guy who has his jersey in stores, you have to buy up the lot of whatever they've got left before you can change your number.
If they could get the rights, though, would you change it from the Rockets to the Shreks?
I am not answering this question for multiple reasons.
Unless you're alone watching the show.
No, but the most important reason I'm not answering is I've always thought about my favorite sponsor opportunity that never will get done, and I will not say it on the air, but I will tell you guys when we're off the air, and then you can tell me how genius it is, because I'm telling you it's the all-time best. So no, I can't endorse it.
I think it'd be cool.
I'm a proud graduate.
Oh, I think
The
I think
mascot would be
helmets-
better. I mean, they've always struggled to fight a mascot, to fight a mascot suit that would work.
This is where I will get myself in trouble, so I have to. I'm recusing
UT grad.
myself. Me too.
I'm a UT grad. The Rocket has been accused of looking like many things. I'm just saying.
Correct. Which ties in exactly with the
Walk right up to the line and then walk right back off.
Well done.
That's what we try to do on this show.
Is it time for a break?
I think it is.
Okay, let's
I
take
think we can do that.
Let's take a break.
We're a little early, but Marty's feeling a little nervous right now, so I want to come back and talk a little baseball because I know we're a little early. We're only about 3 weeks in, but there's some things going on that I think we should discuss. All right, it's the Front Row Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's, and we'll be back right here on NBC 24.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good. It's that good, no matter what your taste. It's that good. Come early, stay late. Burgers and beer, a shot of cheer. Great food and fun. It's that good here. Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
Hey, Mortgage Marty here. With the new tax code changes, home equity lines of credit, HELOCs as we call them, have changed whether they're deductible. And with recent interest rate increases, you're seeing those variable rates on them increase. I had a lot of interest in customers putting them in with their first mortgage, converting to a 10, 15, even 20-year to compress the timeline so they're not stretching back out over 30 and get better rates. If you have interest in that, just text HELOC to the number you see on the screen there, HELOC, and we'll get you info on how to take advantage of that tax deductibility all over again.
Since 1982, Red Wing Shoes at North Reynolds and Bancroft, selling purpose-built footwear for men and women no matter what your job is. Carrying the largest selection of Red Wing shoes in Northwest Ohio, over 3,000 pairs of boots, shoes, and accessories in stock to ensure the proper orthotic fit and style for your line of work. Stop in and see Mike, Aaron, or Bob at their newly renovated office. We're easy to get to at the corner of North Reynolds and Bancroft with ample parking. Red Wing Shoes, Reynolds and Bancroft, where service, quality, and fit come first.
Powerbomb Wrestling is on the road with 2 upcoming live events. PBW returns to Toledo on Sunday, April the 29th at St. Clemens Hall. It's a double main event featuring Ben Bihn and Pedo the Killer Clown against Malice and Nate Matson. Plus, CIA defends the tag belts against Righteous Indignation. Powerbomb Wrestling debuts in Findlay Sunday, May 6th at the All-American Rock House. See Pedo the Killer Clown against Bobo Brazil Jr. and get your tickets anytime at pbwexcitement.com. Welcome back, Front Row Roundtable Show, presented by Ralphie's here on NBC 24. Norm Wamer, Big John Malkoski, Marty Bihn, and we are brought to you by Ralphie's and my home away from home. Anytime I want to catch a game. And don't forget, if you're up late, if you're out running around, get a little hungry, half-priced appetizers after 9 o'clock. There's also a happy hour wing specials 2 to 5 weekdays. Check it out. Great place to go watch the game. All right, on the baseball side. 3 weeks in, more strikeouts than hits. How did we get here?
Way too many people on way too many charts trying to figure out, way too micromanaging the analytics to the point of distraction, and everyone looking for the same thing. And it's going to bite the teams that overdo it, and it's going to bite teams that overpay for it big time going forward.
I think it's a combination of 2 things. The hitters are going for launch angle. Everybody wants to hit home runs. Last year we set a record for home runs. This year I'm sure it's probably on pace again. And it's also the relief pitching. And I know that's been building up, but the way it's used now, where a starter goes 5 innings and they're fine with it, and then you get a new pitcher every inning, somebody that's coming in throwing 98 miles an hour with a slider. Those guys are always going to get more strikeouts just because they're fresher, they got better stuff. It's not like 30 years ago where you had a starter try to go as far as he could and only come out if he was having problems.
I'm going to take everybody back farther. I'm going to take them back to the steroid era when guys were hitting 50 homers all over the place, and some guys' heads were growing and hitting 73 homers and that type of thing. During that time, there was so much offense that anybody that could throw hard, they put them on the mound. That's where they started changing things, because you got a lot of kids that come out of high school and come out of college, quite frankly, that play both ways. They're good athletes. They can hit, but if they throw 95, they now stick them on the mound. That wasn't always the case. And I think now you look at what the average...
Sean Dunstan's my favorite example of a guy who could throw it through a wall.
The average speed of a fastball now is almost 93 miles an hour. That's average.
Right. I mean, if you're a right-handed pitcher in high school, if you don't hit 90, you're not even getting looked at.
And that's mid-80s and effective and moving the ball around.
Teams aren't interested in that because
you can go play mid-level college ball, but you're not getting drafted and you're not making the farm system.
No.
Justin Verlander, and you can look this up, says that the All-Star break, not this past year, but the year before, they changed the baseballs. They made them harder. And I have no idea whether that's true or not, but it is Justin Verlander.
Right. And he's been one of the bigger proponents of that and calling him out.
And he said, just, if you're going to do it, just tell everybody. Don't hide it.
But that still doesn't have. To me, that would have the opposite effect.
Well,
because it's harder to throw, and when the guys are hitting it, it's being hit harder, and they should be getting more hits.
But it's easier for everybody to hit homers. So guys,
But
that were,
easier for guys to hit homers doesn't make it less easy to hit a double off the wall or for a hard ground ball to seek its way
Right.
through and get a base hit. So I'm not sure that I don't think that explains to me.
Well, let me finish.
All right.
Okay, if you're a guy that hits 15 homers, and a lot of times you're flying out to the warning track, it's a lot different if you can hit 25. Players change your game.
Well, and that's where the money is, frankly. You know, the guys who are signing these 8-year contracts for $25 million are not the guys who hit a bunch of doubles, hit 310. It's the guy that hits 280 but hits 45 home runs.
So you can get your guy on first base and bunt him over to second and, get him to third and a sac fly in, and that's great, but the other team's hitting 5 homers against you. It's really not going to matter. So that has changed the game.
But in order for those homers to matter more, you need guys on base in front of them, which, every team should still have those table setters. But it also goes back. But it also goes back to what you've talked about for a while now, batting Aaron Judge leadoff, or the Indians batted Carlos Santana leadoff.
Yeah, it has changed so much to the power game on both sides, on the pitching side and the batting side, to where it is strikeouts and home runs, and everything in between has been devalued to a point where we're getting an extreme form of the game that, frankly, I don't enjoy it as much. And maybe I'm weird that I'm not the average. I think a casual fan likes to go say I saw 6 dingers get hit or whatever else, and I get that, but it's not as entertaining a game to me when you don't have to battle each at bat. And
Think about this. Go back to the turn of not the last century, but the century before it, from the 19th century, the 20th century. At that time, balls were mush.
Right.
They didn't use a new ball every 3 pitches because the ball hit the dirt. We got to throw that one out.
But they were mush compared to what they are now.
Well, yeah.
And nobody tried to hit homers because it was very difficult to do. So the game was totally different until Babe Ruth came along. And they started using new baseballs, and they didn't let pitchers soak it in water overnight and stick it in a freezer.
But they will let you pine tar the living heck out of it, as long as you don't put it up here in your jersey, as long as it's down at the bottom.
And
then
the
it's
shine
okay.
ball and all kinds of stuff like that, so. And every change has been, for offense. But, we're getting to a point here where it's, homer, strikeout.
Well, and it all goes back, and like Marty said, it goes back to the sabermetrics or the analytics. Because, every ball now, even in the minor leagues, they have StatCast and TrackMan. They can track every pitch, every hit.
And not just a pitch.
They do.
The spin rate, the lateral and horizontal, or lateral and vertical movement of a pitch is all being tracked on almost every pitch in any farm system, so they can metric that out later to see what that guy projects to.
But I had a situation at the Mud Hens where a ball was hit right at a guy. I called it an error. I got a phone call from the team, said, there's no way that was an error. It came off the bat at 106 miles an hour. Well, it doesn't say that in the rule book that you can't do that, or that's factored in.
How would you have scored the no-hitter?
Oh, that was a hit.
Okay.
There's no way.
I've watched it 4 times. I would have only scored it a hit, and I have nothing against the no-hitter and whatever. I'm not devaluing that the game ended that way, but to me that was a hit. And I've watched a lot of baseball. I don't know how. So
The definition of a hit in the rule book, for anybody who doesn't know, is if an ordinary fielder can make ordinary effort to make the play. There's no way, and if you didn't see it, Sean Manaea had a no-hitter 5th inning, little bloop behind shortstop. The shortstop turns his back, has his back to the plate, about 30 feet into the grass, tries to go up and make the catch, and he drops it. To me, that is not ordinary effort from an ordinary fielder, because that is a tough play.
But if you go into the unwritten rule book, page 28, section 5B.
The first hit of a no-hitter has to be a clean hit. Exactly.
Exactly. All right, we got to take a time out when we come back. I'll get to the other thing we were talking about. Parity in baseball has been real good. Not this year. We'll talk about when we come back. The Front Row Roundtable show on NBC 24.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good. It's that good no matter what your taste. It's that good. Come early, stay late. Burgers and beer. A shot of cheer. Great food and fun. It's that good here. Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
Ag Mortgage Marty here. With the new tax code changes, home equity lines of credit, HELOCs as we call them, have changed whether they're deductible. And with recent interest rate increases, you're seeing those variable rates on them increase. I've had a lot of interest in customers putting them in with their first mortgage, converting to a 10, 15, even 20 year to compress the timeline so they're not stretching back out over 30 and get better rates. If you have interest in that, just text HELOC to the number you see on the screen there, HELOC, and we'll get you info on how to take advantage of that tax deductibility all over again.
Somerset Bingo Hall, Toledo's premier bingo hall, 7 nights a week at the corner of Douglas, Lasky, and Tremainsville. At Somerset Bingo Hall, doors open at 5 p.m., Lightning at 6, and Series at 8 p.m. Sundays, doors open at 11 a.m., Lightning at 1, and Series at 2:30. Somerset Bingo Hall, Toledo's premier bingo hall, 7 nights a week.
Powerbomb Wrestling is on the road with 2 upcoming live events. PBW returns to Toledo on Sunday, April the 29th at St. Clemens Hall. It's a double main event featuring Ben Bihn and Pedo the Killer Clown against Malice and Nate Matson. Plus, CIA defends the tag belts against Righteous Indignation. Powerbomb Wrestling debuts in Findlay Sunday, May 6th at the All-American Rock House. See Pedo the Killer Clown against Bobo Brazil Jr. and get your tickets anytime at pbwexcitement.com. Welcome back, Front Row Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's. Next week we will get heavy into what happened in the NFL draft. As we tape this, the draft had not begun. And as you're watching this, it's pretty much done. So next week we will get pretty heavy into the NFL draft, I would imagine. So it was an amazing draft, wasn't it? No, we can't do that. All right.
Yeah, can we grade the drafts? Browns get an F automatically.
I thought about that earlier. I thought about predictions sure to go wrong, and that was on my list.
Yes.
Is, hey, you're not making the playoffs.
Maybe not this time. All right.
I'm willing to double down on whatever you're willing to wager.
We'll
All
see.
right,
We'll
all right.
see. We can't do it now.
It's fine.
Next week.
I got it.
Give them a reason to tune in.
Patience and I are not friends.
I understand.
Okay.
I think on a previous show, John brought this up about parity in baseball, how it's been better in most sports.
Yep.
This ain't the year, at least so far. We're looking at some teams that could be looking at some records if they keep going the way they are. Of course, the Reds fired their manager. Matter of fact, he had been there so long, I forgot they hadn't fired him yet. Brian Price should have been fired probably 3 years ago.
Well, that's my thing. It's like if a tree falls if a manager that everyone knows stinks on a team that everyone knows isn't going to win gets fired, does it make a sound?
As we tape this, the Reds are 4-18. Miami's 5-17.
But they're not tanking. Just listen to Derek Jeter.
Well, it depends on how many times they played each other, right? Because
Well,
so here's
if
the
they're
line
trying
you should
to
try
win,
follow.
that's even worse. Wouldn't you agree that they're taking? Yeah, we're taking.
Well, but the players are always trying to win. You cannot go out and tell professional baseball players or any athlete,
Right.
Okay, we're going to lose
Correct.
this game.
Correct.
The front office
Correct.
and the manager can be trying.
Well,
to
you
lose.
cannot play your best guys, but if you're
You can trade away all
you're
of
an
your
athlete, and
guys.
you're on the court, you're on the rink, you're on the field, whatever. If you don't play well, you're not going to play anymore. You'd be damaging your own career.
Yeah, those
ahead.
guys.
Go ahead.
Why
you're
would
a Cowboys fan. They don't always give 100%. I understand that, but
why would an athlete go out and say, well, I'm not going to play well today because we want to get that draft pick who is going to then replace me because he plays my position and then I'm out.
and I won't get offered a contract because I sucked.
Right. I truly believe the guys
Go
on
ahead.
the court.
Go ahead.
I'm not saying they're actively complicit. I'm just saying they're tacitly complicit because there
Who
is
is they?
the players in these teams that lose. I think a quit mentality develops very early, and I don't think I hear what you're saying, but I've been part of teams that you can tell that to a person it becomes about me, not about we. It doesn't become about winning a baseball game. It becomes about individual things only. In fact, I think in the NBA you can watch some teams that are struggling in the playoffs right now because they have whole teams of individuals that in the regular season when it's not as competitive it doesn't manifest itself and are now exposed because they play me ball, not we ball. And I think teams have that happen. And the minute as a player,
But they're not individually tanking.
That's
what we were saying.
you don't have to individually tank to tank a team, because when you place your own set of priorities higher than winning a game as a player, you create a problem for that team. Because in almost no sport is the individual maximizing their own personal benefit to the benefit of the entire
But
team.
that's what teams with talent. That doesn't include the Marlins.
So taking pitches is not, statistically measured or appreciated like it used to be. And good teams get starters out of games by taking pitch counts up and getting guys out. Good teams do a lot of annoying things in baseball to get to the next guy or to get to the spot they want.
But I've always looked at baseball as being the most individual sport of all the team sports anyway, because it's always pitcher versus hitter. Whatever that hitter is doing, the only person that it affects is the pitcher. It's not like in football where as an offensive lineman I can say, he's going, I can't get him.
So I agree with you, except let's use your analogy because you're a scorekeeper. So if I'm the shortstop on a team that I know is going to stink, and a ball's hit that would require me to make extra effort, but if I make the extra effort and it kicks off my glove and the scorekeeper decides that's an error instead of a hit and that affects my stat, how hard do I go for every ground ball? How many times do I get in the dirt to make – I understand we say it's subtle.
Way, though.
I think it does. I think there are subtle nuances.
If it's not ordinary effort, it's not an error.
But I'm saying to you, do you take that chance, or do you just kind of, that one's getting through and don't worry about it? I think it affects people. I don't think he goes hard after that ball.
I think it depends on the team too, and the manager and the front office, because you can usually tell if a guy has packed it in or is not giving that effort. And if you've got a good manager who will buckle down on that guy and say, look, I know we stink, but you've still got to go out and give the effort.
Tigers kind of looked like they packed it in the end of last year.
That's as good an example. I mean, they look like the tent had been folded up and everyone just wanted to go home. I mean, to me it looked like, let's just get in here and get the heck out of here and get on about our day.
Not everybody, but some players. I understand the whole team thing. Right. I get that part.
And I'm with you. I think there are teams that clearly, if they're not tanking, they just don't care. And it's hack payroll, hack expenses, take the minimum amount we get from the league and make a little money and
the Marlins are already making money without even selling a ticket this year,
right?
Because their payroll is less than what they get from the national TV
Good
money.
thing, because I'm not sure if they sold a ticket.
Well, they have. They sold a couple, but not many more.
All right, we got to get on out of here, guys. Thank you very kindly. I will be missing next week.
MIA next week again.
And Ralphie will be back next week. So. Front Row Roundtable show next week. We'll be back. Don't forget Power Bomb Wrestling coming your way at 2 a.m. If you can't catch that live, set your DVR or catch it on Fight.tv. We got a big event coming up tomorrow at St. Clemens Hall in Toledo. The bell time is at 5 o'clock. Hopefully you can make it out. All right, we'll see you next time. Front Row Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's right here on NBC 20.